Hey, good morning, everyone. And when I say good morning, I mean good morning because it's early. This might be the earliest I have ever done a garden stroll. It's like 6:30 in the morning. It's the time of year when we wake up early because, well, that's our bedroom windows up there. Again, we don't do any like window coverings here, so it's good. For me, it works really well to get up when the sun says get up, although there's not a lot of sun today, which is why I'm going to do this kind of quick because we have a little bit of rain coming in. I hope everybody's having a good week. Things are good in your gardens. Things are pretty good in my garden, although I will say that every year around this time I get this really, I feel very overwhelmed with what I've taken on. This year, the worst ever. I am like, and I don't have any big events happening in the garden. To my knowledge, at this point, we don't have any like tours or photo shoots scheduled. So theoretically, like things can happen on my schedule, but I get nervous with like plants sitting around. I don't like that. I like things to be done so that I feel like I can't fully enjoy the garden until the garden gets to the point where I'm, in the fine-tuning mode rather than the gotta get it done mode, if that makes any sense. So let's take a little stroll around the garden and I will show you what's happening here. Let's hope the microphones are all working properly today. My goodness. Before the rain comes in. So let's turn it around. Hopefully you can hear the birds singing. It's quite beautiful. God, I almost biffed it on the stairs. Jeez Louise. The alliums are starting, the first alliums are starting to bloom. These are all purple sensations. And if you know purple sensation allium, to know them is to love them a lot because they self-seed quite a bit. So, you know, I certainly never planted this many alliums here. And I appreciate them quite a bit because they do put on a great show and you don't have to do much. You can see the bad thing with purple alliums is that more than I think most alliums, they get really ratty leaves. And I will tell you that very soon I'm going to start cutting these leaves off. And I cut them off and just leave the stems there even before they bloom. And my theory on this is they're already starting to yellow and fall over. They have already fed those bulbs. And I've been doing this for a number of years and you can see they're all still coming back. So I'm feeling good with that approach to this. So anyway, those are the purple sensation alliums, and these in particular, this bunch right here in particular, they tend to come, they're all in different colors now because as they reseed, they're not all exactly the same. I think it's a very pretty look. I want to get over to the other part of the garden because last week we didn't get over there because I kind of got rushed on having to do this like really quick stroll. But oh, by the way, in case, I'm sorry, I always should try to say this. I'm in southeastern Wisconsin, zone 6A. And sometimes people happen upon the channel for the first time and they're like, where are you? What is going on? This is Scarlet Fire Dogwood. We've been actually looking at this quite a bit. It really needs a home. I want to talk to you guys about that, about where either... So here are your options for where we're going to talk about something. This is the beautiful green sleeves. These will sort of turn white, or you've got the pink. So keep those in mind, and then I'm going to ask you your opinion on something later. I think we should go this way, and we should. I know we keep looking at this garden, but it is the best looking spot in the garden right now, so why wouldn't we keep doing this? Look, and actually it's a little like foggy. It actually makes the garden look, I think, even better. The hostas are starting to come up. You know, hostas are so... I love hostas before they're fully up and where you get to see some of the stems and the petioles there and they're just kind of held up on like little platform. I think it's so pretty. I mean, really, even the lily of the valley, which of course I hate, looks nice. But here, I showed you the maidenhair ferns, I think last week, and look how they open. I mean, they just open up so beautifully. That fern that's a native. It's just absolutely outstanding. Good morning, Darwin. Okay. Oh, and I think I mentioned this last week. We talked about the blue mouse ears a little bit, but with the lamium here blooming, It's such a little pretty combination. And then you throw in this painted fern in there, little sweet woodruff gone rogue, some grass in there. It's got to get weeded out, but generally, I mean, really a pretty combo. Oh, and before we walk to the other side, I will just show you the beautiful purple clematis that we've looked at least 2 weeks in a row now. Because again, I just think you got to appreciate these things when they're really, really good. Oh, look at that. Somebody pruned my sanguisorba. Oh! Oh my God. Oh no. No, no. No. Son of a... Urgh. Okay, well, it looked great yesterday, and the deer have been here overnight. Oh my God. Urgh. Okay. No talk. We're just gonna breathe it out. Oh my God, I'm irritated by that in the biggest possible way. Gosh darn it all. Okay, moving on. Life goes on. As you can see, oh, you guys, there is something that's, I'm not going to talk about it because well, kind of we have to a little. Well, we'll talk about it in a video because there's been a little change over here. And it's a small change that has made a huge difference. But the ligularia is starting to bloom along the creek, or not bloom, just fill in and turn this beautiful purple. This is Ligularia dentata Desdemona. It's a reseeding. It's insane with the reseeding. So just take note. We'll talk about the pile of mulch in a second. Okay, so two things, and I am looking for input, although I don't know that you're gonna be able to help me much. If you can see these two stakes that I have here, so this post right here is where I've tentatively planning on putting that beautiful wabi-sabi kind of weeping Japanese maple. I'm holding off on planting it because I'm having the hardest time trying to figure out what the sun situation is going to be here. Now, let me back up so that you guys can get the lay of the land a little bit. Okay, so this is facing more or less south. And the upper story picture here is big oak, very high canopy. Not super dense canopy, but and very high canopy. So quite a bit of light coming through there. Very, I mean, especially, because the sun is, whatever. There's quite a bit of light. The oak does not affect the light too much in terms of at least a Japanese maple situation. Now this is this big maple, and that is just starting to leaf out. And I am a little concerned. I just want to make sure that this thing is going to get enough sun here. And I had it farther in there, kind of even perched on the hill, so it sort of looked like it was weeping down this hill. But I'm afraid it's going to be too shady there. So that's the first thing, is I'm thinking about putting that there. If you have, any thoughts on that, let me know. I could bring it out here, but I'm placing this as how it's viewed from the house, basically. Not as how it's viewed from this side. So that's your thought there. And then the second one, and again, I will talk to you about this mulch in a second. And then the second one is this guy right here. And this is where, in this general vicinity, I might have to come out farther this way. This is where I'm thinking about one of those two cornuscusas that I just showed you, either the white one or the pink one. So we're pretty close to the oak, but there's quite a bit of sun that comes through this way. In our area, these Coosa dogwoods do want a little bit more sun, I think. Not full, although one of them is in full sun, and obviously the one, Rosy Teacups, does just fine there. And I could pull it out a little bit, but you get the general idea here. The main question is pink or white. I was originally thinking pink, but now I think white. The other thing is that this is not as sheltered a spot as I would normally put one of those dogwoods in. And I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I have a bit of a feeling that the green sleeves is going to be a touch tougher than the scarlet fire. So if you guys want to weigh in, and other colors in here, there is going to be some pink. I'm going to show you those in a second. There's going to be some pink flowering trees, or spring pink flowering trees over there. The bloom times will not overlap. And then we've got some, basically we'll have a Japanese maple over here. you know, there's yellow, early spring yellow over here. Anyway, if you have thoughts, I'll take them. Okay, this garden, well, first of all, the golden Alexanders, this is Zizia Aria, is so pretty. And I'm moving, so this is self-seeded around quite a bit, which is great. I've moved one over into the shady spot. I'm going to move, I just want to see where it was popping up. I'm going to move a few more over there to kind of help fill that area out. Got this allium. I'm really anxious to see which allium this is. I put these here. Do I remember? No. But they all have lovely little buds inside of them. All of this. So I'm really excited to see that. There's some beautiful raspberry wine Monarda down there too. This path always gets too wide on me, but I'm happy to see that we've got the lady's mantle. It's coming back pretty nicely to kind of pull it in. I'm going to need to put some more kind of ground covery things over here. And this is not as shady as it was before this tree was removed. So there might be some shifting around here. By the way, the Carex pennsylvanica, I mean, it's not out competing the lily of the valley, unfortunately. Look at all that lily of the valley. But it is beautiful. And like there you can see I've planted another one of those shredded umbrella plants. And somewhere in here, I think there's a thalictrum. I don't know how it's doing. And I do love the look of hostas coming out of it. So anyway, I'm so happy with how that's worked. But it's quite interesting. Look how it just, like there's that big root that came off that tree. It just stops. It's a hard stop there. Okay. This is all part of this project that you will get an update on soon. It's just moving. I don't want to show you too much of it, but it's just moving. It's not going in the correct order. And so one of the things I had to do yesterday was move our big wood chip pile. Many of those wood chips are for the extension of this path. And so even though I'm not going to spread these out yet, I just need to get them out of where they were. So we just dumped in here. I did pull, as you can see, 2 boxwoods. These were the 2 little boxwoods that were in the corner. They are pretty much shot. Well, they certainly shot now because I pulled them. They were just looking absolutely terrible. This is, I can't tell you the name of this variety. I got them at a plant convention, or like a gardening convention eons ago. And I know that they were like questionably hardy for me. And so the fact that they hung on for as long as they did is pretty amazing. I want to show you, we've not been in here, so I've not shown you these glorious trees, which are now out of flower entirely because they came flowering. These are gladiator crab apples, and I'm really excited to get these in the ground. Hello. But look at those beautiful shiny leaves on it. They are not columnar, but narrow. They are, let me just give you the stats on them. They are 20 high by 9 wide. So I'm just, lovely, lovely trees. So those are waiting for their home. The garlic is coming up. I gotta tell you, for as much garlic as I planted, what in the world happened in this area? Like big empty hole. There was a ton of garlic in there. Strange. Onions and shallots are doing great. Let's look at the beautiful, beautiful apple tree. I love a fruit tree in bloom. To me is one of the prettiest things you can have in your garden. I think apple blossoms are just, I mean, look at how gorgeous this is. Just absolutely amazing. Now, I'm a little concerned. I don't really have any crabs. Well, although actually I will say these crab apples were in bloom kind of just until recently. So hopefully we've had a little bit of cross-pollination. But look, this is Liberty apple. I bought it espaliered several years ago, but I have continued the arm. So you can see the arm. My plan is just let it keep going out with those 3. I just think it's stunning. And the pear over here too, this is a Bartlett pear. This is in bloom. I need to get a ladder over to cut the top little bits off of it. Also beautiful. I do have trouble getting the fruit. I struggle with sawfly issues, or sawfly larvae on, or I think they're called pear slugs or something, but they're sawfly larvae of some kind. Usually on this plant, that becomes a real problem. But a lot of times, every time I get a pear, a damn squirrel comes along. We have some really big currants in here, which may or may not stay. I originally planted currants along here to espalier them. That's what this wire right this wire is for. I was going to espalier them. I read that in Lee Reich's book. I'm like, I got to do that. And it did not go well. They aren't particularly healthy. This year they look great. Maybe I'll get some currants off them. When we were kids, we had currants everywhere. My mom made amazing currant jam. But in my experience, there's some sort of sawfly larvae thing. And like, this is one of those things that like, I don't know how much I care about it to take an effort to avoid that. Got some lettuce in the ground, which is good. Got some kale in the ground. These are going to be the tomato beds, so they aren't even, because I move the tomato beds every year. So I haven't even cleaned them out yet because we're 2 weeks away from tomatoes. But check out the Belgian fence. Looking great. I was a little worried we weren't going to get a lot of flowers there because I'm like, ooh, I probably pruned, a little bit late because I prune almost any time of this. But we're going to look at all those beautiful buds on there. This is, I know I talk about this a lot, but truly, this is the best garden experiment I've ever done, certainly. I mean, it was an experiment for me. Anyway, look at how pretty. Oh, boy, there's a lot of bugs. I did plant some foxglove and profusion zinnias down here, so those should be pretty when they get going. Yeah, this one always has this gaping hole here, but we're getting there. We're growing some stuff up. It'll be filled eventually. Here's the next. I tell you what, these plastic clips though, those have generally been a bad decision here. I need to get something else to tie that in, but we'll get there. These guys will cross and go up. This particular one right here has always been an underperformer, and I can see that there's actually some damage. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of damage down at the bottom there, and I assume that's why. It's always underperformed, but we're filling things in. But look, it's gonna be so beautiful. Hopefully, I imagine next week we'll be able to. Well, either way, don't worry, we will not miss the flowering on this. I will make sure to show you. So pretty. Okay, so that's the vegetable garden thing, and so since I hadn't been over here for a while, I did want to let you know this is interesting. I did this video about spring planted bulbs. And for that video, I wanted to show how you plant gladiolus. So I planted a few gladiolus corms, knowing full well it was way too early. They probably were going to rot. It was quite cold out. They weren't going to work. But I'm like, well, we'll just sacrifice some to plant them. And look. So maybe I learned a little something there. Maybe you can push these things a little bit earlier. Oh, this is notable. The first Lisianthus I have ever grown. I bought the plugs from Farmer Bailey, or from their retail version, Garden Club Garden Club plants, whatever it is, whatever their retail facing thing is, where you can buy small packs of them. And they've been in the greenhouse, and then I'm like, when am I supposed to plant those out? And then I went and read somewhere you're supposed to plant them out really quite early, and I went, oops. So I just got them in the other day, which is honestly early somewhere else is this time here probably. Don't look, avert your eyes. We'll talk about those later. Let's just see what else we have to take a look at here. Oh, we do have, Darwin, you stay over here. I did want to show you. Sorry, I'm trying to walk nice, so it's not so jostly. I usually remember that about halfway through filming these videos. This is a white lilac it's from Bloomables that I planted, gosh, probably 3 years ago. And we're gonna get these beautiful, it was tiny. And then we're gonna get these beautiful flowers. I think it's a very Midwestern thing, I'm pretty sure, to have a big lilac at the end of your driveway. And so I'm quite excited about that. You guys, I cannot go back to the fact that that damn deer ate that clematis. I just really want to cry. Here's some Baptisia coming up. Always looks pretty coming up. Here's some Stormcloud Ansonia coming up. This is a garden. I actually ended up like not making a video about it, but we talked about it. I revamped this whole garden in like October of last year. Already it's so much better. So much better. We're still working on fixing the damage over here, but things will be okay. We have a light that took a hit. Gotta replace that. Oh, and although this garden is very, let's say, natural, but it is a really pretty color combination when you see the all gold Heckenacloa coming up. And then sorry, move your finger because it's screwing up the focus. But with the purple ligularia, and that ligularia is coming up a little bit farther than I would normally want it to, but I'm happy with it feeling that area because that's just like a weed haven over there. And so that ligularia does a really good job of shading the soil. Oops. Oops, she says. And then the last thing I just wanted to show you was, and we'll talk about this, I am doing a what I planted in May video, but because did I show you this last week? Oh, I did. I showed you guys this last week, so never mind. You've seen this. That's the eclipse hydrangeas there. What else? What else? This you saw last week. Plant piles you've seen forever. It's quite chilly out here, you guys. Sorry, I'm cruising now. Oh, let's take a look at the beautiful moonrise. Japanese maple. Acer Shirazawanum moonrise. This is really its best look. Its spring color is better than any other time of the year. It's like one of these like Japanese maple, or not even a Japanese maple, Korean maple, that just looks its best in spring. So, love that orange color on it. And just, I actually really like it when these leaves are just first opening and are kind of, you know, facing down. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's always amazing what a difference it makes when this tree starts getting leaves on it. What a difference it makes to this whole area. Blue globe spruce this year. This girl, we got to start pruning hard. She is really becoming an issue. So this is one of the old blue globe spruce. This is globosa, and this is one of the old ones. Unlike moonstone, this one is trying to get a leader. That's what they do with age. So the problem is I get suckered in by these gorgeous candles, these gorgeous new fresh growth, and I just want to look at it, and it's very hard. It's very hard for me to go in there and willfully prune that off. Okay, let's talk about this quickly. This is the, what is it? Seven Suns tree, Heptacodium, that I planted last year. It's looking good. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. It's looking very good. I'm happy with it. When I planted that last year, I went back in with a shady ground cover around the bottom, which had been there when we did the serviceberry. Now, part of the reason, well, the situation has changed because for years before we did this, there was this enormous Norway maple right here. And so this was quite a shady spot, and it still seemed pretty shady. I'm starting to think that shade was caused from the serviceberry. I don't know. We're going to see how these plants do here. So this is just, this is Elegans Hosta and Stripe-It Rich Hackmacloa. Beautiful Hackmacloa. Love this plant. And we're going to see how they do. They look okay now, but the hostas are not getting the kind of growth I would normally like to see, although they were transplanted, and it does take hostas a little bit to recuperate from that. I might have misfired on how much sun was going to be here. So this area is on watch for this year. That Lamium snuck in there with that Stripe-It Rich, and it's coming out. That's not allowed there. Don't want that there. And when I look at this garden in front of me, I see a dandelion. There's other good stuff in there, but mostly I'm looking at a dandelion. I haven't obviously planted, this area is annual, full of annuals. So we do, this is where a lot of the dahlias go. We do a lot of annuals in here. So it's still looking pretty shoddy. I'll show you the poppies. These are the poppies that have been either self-sown or I sowed. They always end up at the edge, you guys. Invariably. These seeds, I think they just wash down and then they get caught in edges. Some of these are too close to the edge. I'm probably going to try to transplant some of these back farther into the bed. The biggest problem with poppies is that they come up at the same time as chickweed, and I have horrible chickweed in this garden. So, I wanted to weed that out or hoe that out, but I knew there were poppies in there. So, there's a poppy. So I had to wait for all this chickweed to pop up, and then I'm going to have to weed around the poppies. And that is a bit of an issue because they're almost grow simultaneously. So you got to just let the chickweed go even when you want to hoe it out, because you know there's poppies laying under there. And I told you this was going to be gone. Actually, I probably will pull these this weekend. But this is the last vestiges of the Virginia bluebells. And honestly, I tell you what, they serve a really good purpose though, which is that there would be chickweed all over here too if this ground were exposed. And so they keep the ground well shaded. Okay, that's, I think that's it. Oh, did I show, I think I showed you guys this ginkgo last week. This is a gnome. Gnome's looking beautiful. There's Ragucci clematis going up the bottom there. I gotta take the cages off the bottom of the trees too. Those are winter rabbit protection. Okay, let me turn you around. I lied. There was somebody who asked for an update, and I said I would show you in the stroll. You guys, I have bad news about the banana. This is the banana. I've cut it farther down. I've still not got to any growth. There's nothing happening. I'm pretty sure it's a goner. I'm going to try cutting it again. Marianne Wilburn has told me you can cut them all the way down to like a nub. I'm going to try again. I did buy backups, and I have them growing because I saw it wasn't happening. I'm like, I better go make sure I have a backup. So unfortunately, the situation is not good with the OG banana right now. You know, when I planted it, at the end of that video, if you saw the banana planting video, when I was putting it in the pot, my hand was kind of underneath it, and there was a rotten spot in the middle. Like I felt like a slimy, wet spot in the middle of the roots. I'm like, uh-oh. And yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. So that's kind of sad banana update, but I'm gonna keep trying to, no, Fergus. I'm gonna keep trying to make something happen there. All right, one more thing before I go. A new rule at the channel, and I say this, you guys, I say this with a bit of humor, just so you know. So don't worry, everything's fine. But this is sort of in light of recent comments, some recent comments. You are allowed to make any comment you want about my appearance, which is not the point of this channel, by the way. This is a gardening channel, it's not a beauty channel. Shocker. No, you can make any comment you want. However, if reasonable people would not make that comment to my face in person, then you must submit corresponding photos of yourself to me via email. I'll put an email on the bottom here when you make the comment. And if you don't send the corresponding photos of yourself, which will be shared to me when you make the comment, then the comment's going to disappear. So for instance, if your comment is, holy crap, you look so old in that clip from like 3 years ago, you need to send me the pictures of yourself from the same amount of time ago, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was, and now. And then I'll just put them out there, and then we can make comments about your appearance too. Like I said, guys, I'm being lighthearted here. I think the message is not every thought in the head needs to come out in the keyboard or in the mouth, but that's all. All right, you guys have a great day in your garden. If you're in the US, this is a long weekend. So I know if what I saw at the hardware store / garden center yesterday was any indication, people are working in their gardens this weekend. So I hope you get lots done. I am planning on kicking it big time in the garden, as well as a little family time too. So hope you guys are, oh, by the way, I was just going to say that, we got together with some family last night, and one of my cousins who lives, well, if you're in Wisconsin, she lives in Mount Horeb. So it's like near Madison, basically. They had frost 2 nights ago. So crazy weather happening here. For as much as I feel behind, I also feel not as behind as I would if it weren't so darn cool in general. I mean, I'm still hesitating on putting a lot of stuff in pots. A lot of the stuff that I'm planting in terms of annuals, not that I'm planting a lot of it, I'm only doing it just to move plants because I got the time to do it, not necessarily because I really should, because it's still quite cool here. All right, that's it. Have a great day in your garden, you guys. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.